Hello everyone, V the Amazing Greek here today. We're sticking with our zombie theme, and today we'll be discussing essential zombie gear. Today we'll be discussing combat knives. Now there's a few things you want to take into consideration when choosing a combat knife. The length of the blade. For our discussion here, hypothetically, the knife you want needs to have a blade of 6 to 9 inches so that when the knife is thrust into the skull from the furthest point away to penetrating the brain, which is up under the chin, you want it to be able to penetrate into the brain cavity. So you need a 6 to 9 inch blade. Anything longer than that, you run the risk of coming out the top of the skull and then having your knife stuck there, and then you have to fight to pull it out. Another thing to consider when choosing your combat knife is the type of blade. You want a blade that is smooth on one side or just has the cutting blade. You don't really want serrations on it or a saw back. Like we use, flip the knife over, you can cut notches into wood to hold strings when you tie them to trees. You don't really want that because then you run into the risk of, when plunging the knife into flesh, running into muscles, tendons, sinew, and having trouble retracting the knife. And you just want it to go in and out. Double-edged versus single-edge. That would be pretty much up to the user, but a single-edged knife may have a little more strength because it's got that rigid back with a thicker spine and then tapers down into the blade. So I have a variety of knives here that I've got out, and I'll discuss each one of them quickly, show you what's good, what's not good about them, and we'll work our way from the smaller and less effective to the more effective what we want. Alright, first we'll start off with this. Anybody who's watching my past videos knows this is the M-Tech 525. It has a 6-inch blade, but this is not designed for combat. This is a take on the Tom Brown tracker knife, and despite what they say in the movie The Hunted, this is not for combat. This is a survival knife. It has a chopper, a wood splitter, a notching tool, and a wire brake. So this is designed for survival, camping, that type of situation. It looks impressive, but I mean, you stick this up into a skull, you're going to get caught. So that's not really what we're looking for. Alright, our next one, this is just a field knife that I picked up in a military surplus store. It has a 4.5-inch blade, modified handles that I've put on myself. It looks good, but the blade length is a little short. We don't have a hilt. The thing with knives is, in a lot of the thrusting motions, without a hilt, you can, with the fluids in the body, when you get blood on it, it can get slippery, and you can actually slip past the handle. This one has pretty good finger grips, but you could slip and then end up injuring yourself. And we're speaking hypothetically, zombie situation, you just got yourself infected, you're dead. So that's not really what we want either. Blade length basically is too short on this one. Alright, this knife has a 4 3/4 inch blade. This is called the Adventure Scout. Looks good. It's alright. The blade is smooth. Then we have a saw back. The main flaw with this knife right here, and I forgot to mention it, you want a full tang knife. That means the blade you have, and then the metal of the blade continues into the handle all the way to the end. This is one of those jobs that the Rambo screw on back, and the blade actually only goes to about right here, and it has a pin that's pressed in there and pinned into this cast aluminum handle. My brother-in-law Phil, he bought one of these after seeing mine. He had a stick in his backyard. He had trimmed some sticks, and all he was doing, he was trying to get the limbs off that were sticking out of the stick, and he was chopping like this, and it cracked the handle. So this is for a Boy Scout, you know, just learning to use a knife. This is not a combat knife or a survival knife. It's just cool, the attachments that come with it. Alright, this knife has a 5-inch blade. This is a copy of a Buck Nighthawk, I believe it's called. blade's pretty good. It does have the serrations. It's got a rubberized grip handle, full tang, pretty good knife. Myself personally, I wouldn't worry too much about the serrations, because I mean, if you stick it in the skull, you're gonna pull out. You're gonna have enough force, I believe, to get past that. One thing this does not have is a lanyard hole, which if I did have a knife with serrations, I would want the lanyard hole on there so that I don't lose the knife when trying to retract it. All right, here's a homemade job. This has a 6 1/4 inch blade, single edge, but again, we have a saw back on it that I put. We don't have a hole for a lanyard, and it does have the cross guard though here, the hilt. This knife I would feel pretty comfortable with for what our purpose is, but if I came down to it, I'd probably grind this down a little bit to make it smooth. Now, this is another M-Tech that I have. This has an 8-inch blade. This is what we're looking for. Smooth blade, flat back, the spine's good and thick. We have the potential right here to put another edge so that we get penetrating cutting power on both sides of the tip, and it has a good cross guard here, a nice finger grooved handle, and a lanyard hole. This one, this is going to kill something. This is the type of knife you're looking for right here. A lot of people give M-Techs, give them hard time. Every M-Tech I have is badass. I have nothing bad to say about an M-Tech knife. Every one I've gotten has been sharp, and it's done what it's supposed to do. This one almost everyone will recognize. Has a 7-inch blade. This is the Ontario Knife Company's not Bowie. Man, it's the Marine knife, the K-bar. There we go. Flat back, has a high carbon steel blade. It's sharp on the cutting edge, and then on this back edge here, it's sharp also. It has the hilt. It does not have for a lanyard hole, but it does have the pommel here to help you not lose grip of the knife when coming back. Also, the handle is leather circles that are put onto the hilt. They're cut special to go on there, and they put it together, and then they not laminate it, but they like tar it so that even when it gets wet, you have a good grip on this knife, and it's not going to go nowhere. That's a good knife. You want one like this. This you can pick up I picked it up $30 in a Army surplus store new. They run about the same online, except you pay shipping and handling. This knife I picked up for like $10, brand new. So that's a good one to have. Now, what you don't want, once you exceed about 9 inches, you run into the problem, like I said, you penetrate past the skull. How are you going to pull it out? Here's another homemade job. Looks impressive. It is an impressive knife for what it was designed for. I went a little crazy with the sawback. This is one of the first survival knives I made. The blade's very good, but this right here, you're probably gonna get stuck. You're not gonna get this out of the skull. This has a 9 3/4 inch blade, has the hilt on it, but no lanyard hole. So that's our quick overview on combat knives for your essential zombie gear, and we'll continue with this series, and I hope you join me again. Thank you.